Call the meeting to order at 7:02. First on the agenda,
Roll call.
call to order and roll call. Dave and I are here, and Rob and Steve are on remote. Nikki knew she couldn't make this meeting. She called me and Nate. We're not sure if he's en route or not, but we got enough for a quorum, so. Approval of, number 2, approval of the minutes. Does anybody have any adjustments to any of the minutes? If not, I would entertain, instead of just going one by one, we just entertain approving the minutes for the Board of Ed, Board of Finance 24, Board of Finance meeting 4/17, Board of Finance 4/24, Board of Finance budget shop 4/28, and Board of Finance budget workshop 4/30, and accept them as presented.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Discussion, sorry, Brian,
Yep.
quick on discussion. There
Yep.
was a question on the 324 minutes around the vote on the Little League. And RJ
Review the vote.
had that clarified for us, so
RJ, what was that? We didn't,
That was,
is he here? Yeah,
he's behind us.
He was not expecting to be asked, so because I just wanted to, I already messed up the first time, so I didn't want to wait it the second time.
what was the,
The issue was the total was right, but the roll call wasn't correct. So the roll call, I believe, reflected a 4-2,
Yes,
but the vote failed 3-3.
but did you change that at all or in the minutes?
No, the board, you guys had voted saying you wanted to come back and review it and then kind of decide what you wanted it to be.
I can't remember what I voted on that. Do you remember what you
What
voted on
was the
that?
meeting?
The 324,
324.
yeah, and that was the, RJ saying the,
I
vote.
recall,
yeah,
but I don't see it here.
Brian and Brian, if I may.
Yeah.
It was, the notes show it passed 4-2, but in reality it failed 3-3. So there's a yes vote that needs to be reversed in the minutes.
does it say who the yes votes were?
Yes, it does, but I don't recall how I voted.
I think the action was RJ was gonna go back to the recording and confirm who actually voted no, that the minutes reflected yes.
Yeah, I apologize for that. I thought the board wanted to review it, so I sent kind of
Oh.
the timestamp in the video.
Okay.
And I can definitely get that for the board at the next meeting.
Yeah, why don't we, we certainly can just take, A out and put that on next month's agenda.
It's B. isn't it?
No, 324A, Board of Finance Workshop 324, review the vote.
Yep.
So if we just RJ will take that out and we'll just vote on B, C, D, and E.
Agreed, Brian. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. No big deal. All right, so all in favor of accepting B, C, D, and E?
Well, I'll revise my
Motion?
oh, yeah, I'm sorry,
That's all
motion
right.
to reflect what you just stated.
Okay,
I'll
and Dave will second,
it.
and all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, any opposed? Oh, obviously, okay.
So A is next
A
meeting.
is next meeting. All right. Any correspondence at this time? Nothing? We have nobody, citizens' comments. We have nobody in the room, so we can go right to, if there's anybody on Zoom that would like to speak at this time.
Just Linda J.
All right. All right, if not, I'd like a motion to move up item 8 to, we've got 5 selectmen,
4A.
4A.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So Marshall, you there?
I am.
Okay, the floor is all yours.
Alrighty.
Free up so you don't have to stay here all night.
Thank you very much. I sat ahead the presentation, but I also have it available to share if you guys would like.
Marshall, do you mind sharing your screen or I can share mine, whatever's better for you?
I'll try sharing mine and hopefully that works.
There you go. Yep. You can see it.
So this is our annual presentation for the audit. This is for the 2024 fiscal year. So we'll just get right into it. The presentation is just kind of high level summary of the audit in general and a lot of just main points of what we do, some upcoming things and any comments or recommendations that come through as well at the end. So I'll kind of just get right into it. There's a small chance Chris might show up to the meeting for maybe some other questions, but he had a kid's scholarship award thing tonight, so he wasn't able to attend right away, but he might make it by the end. So we'll jump right into it. So the audit scope, this is kind of everything that we do. There is the financial report audit. That is the main audit that kind of breaks down into 3 financial presentations, government-wide, GAAP basis, and budget basis. It has disclosure notes for significant events, and we'll kind of go through that throughout the slides. If you have questions at any time, just let me know, or you can let me know at the end. There is a federal, if you guys have more than 750,000 of federal funding, which you did this year, not funding, expenditures, but you had more than that this year. The Connecticut audit, which basically every town has every year, that's 300,000 of funding, or it's going up to 300. I think it's going up to 300. And then there is the Board of Education EFS agreed upon procedures. Those are performed by us for the Connecticut Department of Education. It is performed with the Board of Ed. They basically upload their information up to the state, and we come through and do various tests based on the agreed upon procedures from the state. The town typically doesn't really recognize this or know what's going on with it, but luckily Bill kind of has both ends, so he gets to help me and help our team through that, those procedures to make sure those are accurate. So we'll jump right into the financial highlights. So like I said, the audit itself, it starts with the MD&A, the management discussion analysis. That is the highest summary level. It typically comes mostly from the town. It's bullet points of multiple portions, all 3 levels of financial reporting. Then it goes into the government-wide financials. That includes the full accrual, so any large debts, fixed assets, and all financials besides fiduciary. All the other financials get combined into one high-level summary. But the more important ones are when we get to GAAP basis. This is where your fund balance and all the smaller funds of your town are reported. So on page 14, this will show the general fund balance. This for 2024, it was almost 3.2 million. The components that break that down are in the notes on page 39. The Government Financial Officers Association recommends holding about 2 months worth of annual revenues. Your town doesn't have a fund policy to reflect any of that information, but it's a good recommendation to try to stay at that 16% or around there. This year, the unassigned fund balance portion was 2.97 million, roughly 10.1%. There is a small portion that will go to the BOE for next year. that doesn't reflect in this audit because it's an event that happens at 7/1 with regards to what they passed for up to that 2%. So that will reflect a little bit against this 10%, but it's definitely moving in the right direction. The next slide will show that. Page 16, this is it's the P&L portion of it, but it shows all combined funds for the governmental funds. In total, they had 9.6 million, overall increase of 2.8 million from the prior fiscal year. In the fiduciary funds on page 21 and 22, the pension trust fund, that increased about 675,000, bringing overall cash and investments to 8.2 million. This slide here shows the 3-year analysis trend of the general fund. The last 2 years, obviously, we've known that it's been close to 5% with the unassigned portion. That does come close to where MFAC or MARB would come and start having discussions with the town. Clearly now in this year, luckily with a lot of things that we'll discuss from the budget, it has turned around and we are out of that zone, but we're still not up to where we should be for recommendations. But that's a reflection of what the town wants to do and where they should keep it compared to the recommendation of the GFOA. Next, we go into the notes. Page 36 through 38, your long-term debts. The GO bonds decreased about just over $1 million. The net pension liability, which is a government-wide function related to pension, decreased about 403,000. The total OPEB decreased by 442,000. And there was a new equipment financing for 241,000 for a truck with plow attachment. Next is more recognizable, which is the budget basis for you guys, page 59 through 64. Net increase to the fund balance, 1.575 million. There was a decrease from tax collector to anticipated of about 481,000. But the municipal revenue sharing grant that came in brought in 152,000 that wasn't anticipated. There was some FEMA recovery money that came through at 204,000. A school security grant that came through at 238,000 it was actually from a prior year that was there. And then investment income for a lot of towns have been significant, especially more than budgeted. It's a conservative game you want to play. You don't want to budget too much for investments because any year that could change, but that has been reflecting heavy on a lot of towns to help them, not knowing where those investments will go, but luckily they've been going up. So, have been up. So that has been great. The big thing was the expenditures overall. They were less than anticipated by 1.135 million. Major drivers for this was related to the Board of Ed, fringe benefits, and public works with snow removal, which can vary year to year, but luckily those came through this year and helped with the fund balance in total. Next,
Marshall, sorry, you asked for questions along the way. Do you mind jumping back real quick?
yeah, of course.
Should we view that the miss on tax collections by 481,000? Should we view that as missed in that year but not missed forever, meaning that should roll through in future years?
Correct. You
Meaning-
still have a outstanding receivable.
Yeah.
That for any real estate is always fully collectible. Motor vehicle can vary, which does end up on your suspense list
Yeah.
for your town specifically. But yeah, it's not missed as in total, like forever. It's just in the fiscal year you anticipated a little bit more, maybe with a reflection of a mill rate change or a reevaluation. I believe the mill rate went up that year, so that can reflect just in total of people not paying in general. You would take that percentage and put it towards that as well. But yeah, it's not missed in that sense, especially for real estate. And the motor vehicle can be technically missed, but it's a small portion, and you guys control it by moving it to suspense. So it's all.
Yeah. Yep, that's helpful. I assumed it was more of a timing issue than a miss on expectation. So thank you for that.
Yeah, of course. And that was the next topic, which was the outstanding tax receivables. For the town, it's 1.2 million, roughly 5%. We like to see that number between 2 and 6. I know last year we had discussions of a property that had multiple years of outstanding, either being sold off with a condition of the town. I don't know where that landed. I don't know if that's in the next fiscal year, but I believe that should help clear up some of this because there was anticipated future tax payments coming through. I don't know if that's a write-off. I don't know where that was going to land, but I know a portion of this number is related to I don't know if it's a complex or what it is related, but I know the town was trying to sell it or have it sold. The rest of it is related to just the average normal collections, and you're still within that 2 to 6% window, even with this project I remember being told about. So we're not, it's a little bit high compared to most towns because after COVID, a lot of people paid up their taxes. So we've been seeing that number float closer to 2%, but as long as it's under 6%, we still aren't in any field of concern or need any additional testing at this time. And then knowing as well that there's this outstanding project that might wipe out some of this, we'll reflect again in next year and see where that lands.
Yeah, Marshall, real quick, Rob again, sorry to interrupt. Bill, could you give an opinion on that? We just recently received a communication from our tax collector of 170 or 180,000 that came through. Is that part of this? And then the mill, how much does the mill contribute to that $1 million?
The 169 is definitely part of this. I would have to get back to you on the amount for the mill.
Okay.
It's actually something that Marshall and I were going to be talking about as part of this year's audit, fiscal 25's audit.
Okay. So roughly down to 840 or 830,000 already, just given that big climb, which would take us down under 5%. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
On page 58 in the notes, these are upcoming pronouncements for the town. One is compensated absences. This was something it is in effect as of the 25 fiscal year. We were trying to implement it in 24, but it does require some analytics to it. Basically, they want you to recognize or do an analytics of accrued hours that basically recognizing accrued hours that people might have that may not be available on payout, but may be a liability in the fiscal year. So that's the new change that they're trying to do. Instead of just having a pension of what is 100% liable at 630 if everybody retired, they're trying to add in what other liabilities are possible. And that is, somebody that takes maybe sick every year or is upcoming, injury or something like that, they have a whole bunch of accrued time that's sick, may not be liable to the town as a payout, but in that next fiscal year may be liable to them. So it's kind of like a historical analysis of how often does someone actually take that true fully accrued sick time, and analysis of are any employees coming up with big use of vacation or big use of sick time kind of analysis. So that is something Bill is aware of, and we tried playing with it last year, but we stuck with the normal analysis for 24 because it won't kick in until 25.
If I might ask a question, This is Steve. This is an attempt to identify the essentially this liability, which we basically don't recognize, of unpaid sick and unpaid vacation time. Is that what we're trying to do here?
Yeah, so towns that, so in general, you have compensated absences on an accrual for it for anything that the town is 100% liable. So you must have policies or some people that may be paid out, sometimes it's $20 an hour for what you had accrued, or some towns have gotten to the point where you get nothing when you get paid out. It's depending on the policy.
I'm sorry, when you say get paid out, you mean if they left employment?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
So the new twist on it is any liability of the next fiscal year. So in 25, or technically in 26, when we come out through the next audit, what's the chances of somebody at that next fiscal year, they're going to use accrued time that is not specifically liable to you at any time at like the end of the fiscal year, but there's a small chance of them using it. I think they're trying to do it on bigger scale, Hartford, things like that, where they might have people that have accrued thousands or hundreds of hours of sick time they've never taken in their life, but maybe they start having teachers that need for a week or two here and there, and that might add up to $100,000, $200,000 liability. For smaller towns, this twist is really just an additional calculation that might add a $10,000 liability, which isn't risk to anybody. But
I actually think we've had some big liabilities in the recent past. But yep. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's an attempt to recognize those liabilities.
Yeah, it's that additional twist because you already calculate how much is liable at the end of the fiscal year to you guys. So if anybody leaves or if everybody left, everybody has a certain contract or an amount that might have some payout, maybe like only vacation up to 2 weeks or whatever, it's whatever the policy says. But
right.
Now they're trying to add on what other liability could be to the town if they used all of their accrued sick time, though it's not payout at termination, but they were due it and now they used it in that next fiscal year. It's an additional twist. I think bigger towns, I see the point. Smaller towns, it's just more work.
Thank you.
And 103, actually, I'm not sure what 103 is yet. I'll get back to Bill. What is the big change with that? I don't think there was any large change with that. But I'll talk with Chris or Sean, and then I'll get it to Bill for what's that upcoming. It's probably some presentation for us actually. But those are the two big announcements for that. And then going into the federal single audit. So you guys had 2.31 million of total expenditures or assistance, broken down mainly into these categories: school nutrition, special education, ARPA, and the FEMA. Major tested programs this year were ARPA and Child Nutrition Cluster. No material significant deficiencies identified in the financial reporting, but there was one. They consider it significant deficiency if you have any compliance issues. So it's something that almost every single town in the state has failed on, but there is a requirement for when you use a vendor for any type of federal funding, specifically with ARPA, you were supposed to test vendors or have a policy in place to verify if they are suspended or debarred from any federal funding. I think it literally was one sentence in the whole compliance structure. I had towns that paid lawyers to have it read and built policies, and they still missed it. So basically, they just want you to put a policy in place to test vendors. I think it's over 25,000. They have to be registered with sam.gov and be active on there. And that would just show if they're not suspended or debarred. So it comes up as any compliance violation becomes a significant deficiency for the federal, but it's not related to your financial reporting. It's for the federal compliance. And like I said, every town got this one. It's not you specifically. And I had towns of lawyers that missed this as well. So it just is what it is at this point for that. This was the finding, just basically referencing to the verification with SAM.gov, having a policy in place for it. And you can read the rest in the federal single audit, but just the recommendation is to put that policy in place and verify vendors for any federal or ARPA money that's going out. The state single audit, you had 10.8 million in assistance. 7.6 is education cost sharing and excess cost. That is the main testing of that happens with the EFS testing. But you had other grants received, and I do my testing related to non-exempt grants, school construction, Town Aid Road, Alliance District. My major programs: Town Aid Road, school security, STEEP, and municipal purpose and projects. And there was no identified material weaknesses or significant deficiencies within financial reporting or within the state single audit. The management letter, this was also a common recommendation I gave to, I think, every single one of my towns and multiple other towns in our firm. It's been really related to school construction because they're multi-year projects, but it is the responsibility of the town to identify the expenditures that will be submitted for grants and to report them in the fiscal year they occur. That can be difficult because if award letters aren't happening on time, or they tell you to spend the money beforehand and then you're trying to figure out where you spent the money. But at the end of the day, it's the town's responsibility to report the expenditures in the year they occurred. This was related to the school security grant, and there was also a roof project that was bonded for, though that was an exempt grant that was also missed off of the year of reporting. Did someone have a question or?
No, I was just reminding you of the school roof, Marshall.
Yep. So, our recommendation is that you have to recognize those expenditures in the fiscal year they are occurring. We typically try to say if you have a grant award letter in hand, that's when you are 100% put the expenditures in that fiscal year. We are going to be pushing that more and more onto the towns because it is the town's responsibility to do this, but the schedule of expenditures should be filled in by the town. So that will be handed out to more towns. It's actually the schedule right out of the state or federal single audits of expenditures on page like 6 or 7. That should be filled in by you because we wouldn't know what you've expended on, especially if the grant money hasn't come in. If it's bonded for, we don't know these things until you tell us, or we have a grant award letter in hand. So the best we can do is ask, but now they're basically forcing us to force it down on you to make sure they are being properly reported in the fiscal year, because that can cause compliance issues. That was it for recommendations. For management letter, same with just a verbal one with fixed assets, timeliness. We always just prefer those earlier than later with every town. But just, that's just things that we don't put in a management comment because management is typically aware fixed assets usually are a later item, but we always want it earlier, and it's, should be ready when we come out there. So just kind of something we want to put, management is aware, obviously Bill's aware. So we're going to work on that to make that happen earlier.
Marshall, would you explain a little more when you say assets have to be ready? What do you mean by that?
So fixed assets, the calculation and reports for them. There's the fixed asset reports that are provided to us for government wide. they're typically the last thing that is handed to us as auditors or done by the towns because there's no recommendation of when they should be recorded, but you guys have a schedule or threshold of items that should be reported in these fixed assets. And
I'm sorry, what do we report about fixed assets? I don't understand that.
so your fixed assets are like your buildings, everything like that. So when you purchase new items throughout the year, let's just say the plow truck, there's a truck with a plow that goes on your fixed asset listing. And those items get reported in the government-wide financials, which is the biggest financial basis in the audit. When we need those reports to then calculate our numbers for the audit, they're typically not handed to us until after field work is done.
Okay,
So
thank you.
we're recommending to get them, done earlier, maybe on a quarterly basis, just so that when we come out there, they're ready for us is all.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was it for management letter, only verbal that we kind of had. And there's my contact information. And if you guys have any other questions, I'm here to field them.
Dave, any questions?
No.
No? Rob, any questions?
No, none here.
All right, Steve, any questions?
It just still boggles my mind that we sort of operate on a cash basis as opposed to an accrual basis, but it is what it is.
All right. Then-
Nate is also in the Zoom. He
Nate? Oh.
entered at 7.
Oh, Nate, glad you could make it. Nate, any questions?
I don't, but just for the records though too, I did pop in at 7:10 p.m.
Good.
So they have it for the notes. So I've been here listening to it.
All right, thank you. All right, Marshall, then we thank you for the report.
Yes, thank you.
All right, and have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
Now, do we have to have?
Thank you, Marshall.
To accept the report?
I don't believe so. I don't know.
Rob?
I don't believe so either. It's already been filed. So this
Okay.
is information only, Brian.
All right, great. All right, then moving on, we'll go to 5, Selectmen's update. Amy?
All right. I don't have a really large update. Public Works, our biggest department, they've been doing a lot of street sweeping, filling potholes, cleaning up the parks, cleaning up the cemeteries, getting prepared for Memorial Day. We also have that's going to be out. We're entirely shutting down the section of Route 12 where the parade will be running, for the safety of all the participants. I do encourage everyone to come out to the Memorial Day parade on Monday. It's a time where we honor those who paid the ultimate sacrifice, and it's nice to see a lot of people that come out to honor those. So hoping for a large turnout on the streets of North Grosvenor. Additionally, I thought it'd be interesting. I think you probably all have heard that John Gumpert, Camden Management, has acquired title to 929 River Mill. So he is now officially the owner of the mill. Work is going to be beginning on some of the remediation. There is $2 million that's being funded that's going to help with the remediation of things like the lead paint, etc. That might be in the building. Mr. Gumpert is going to be starting on more of the brownfield cleanup, the soils, etc. That's going to be all of it's overseen by DEEP, but his work specifically is on a DEEP timeline. That's Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. So he kind of gave us an overview of a timeline for more progress. When his work when that specific cleanup on the soils, etc., are completed, he has to wait 4 quarters. 4 quarters of sampling has to go by, and so that's another full year. So it'll probably be 2 years before we start seeing real construction in the mill. Everybody's always wondering, but I thought that was an interesting piece from our meeting today, that just know that when that remediation is completed, we have to wait for 4 quarters of testing before we can actually begin construction. So with any luck, within 2 years, we'll see some actual construction going on there. So I just thought it'd be important for the board to know. And then additionally, we have an investor, developer that's very interested in 630 Riverside Drive, for some mixed use commercial. I'll keep you apprised to that. Things seem to be moving in this area of town. We will be beginning the Main Street reconstruction project, hopefully later this year, if not early next spring. So a lot of good things happening in our downtown area. And we hope to see it start to flourish as we bring in more businesses, so.
Okay. Any questions for Amy? If none, all right, we'll move on to Melinda School District update. I don't know, is Melinda on?
No, Brian, it's Rob. Melinda did send me a note. She's at a ceremony recognizing the 4 students that are being hired by Electric Boat in the welding program. And she said that if she doesn't make it, she'll send a report by email, and I'll
All right.
circulate that to the full board.
And then Donna was saying the school got some big award. I think there was only 4 schools that got this award. I can't remember quite what it was, but it was quite an award. There was only 4 in the whole state that I think it's with the culinary and all of that and the kids' involvement and so forth. With our friend here coming, I guess it was quite an award. So that's very nice and shows we're.
It was for civic activity.
Yeah.
for Promotion of American civics within the school system,
That's great.
so.
And then they
I'll
have-
mention that I attended the capstone review, I guess it would be called, today at the school. Really amazing what the students prepare, explaining their self-awareness, what they're going to do with their lives, things that they have been able to master, things that they need to work on. It really is an incredible program that they've got there. All
Yeah,
the seniors go through that. It was really
Yeah, Donna attended too, Steve, and she said the same thing. It was a great event, and some of the stories that these kids talked about, where they came from, what they're doing now, it was very good.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, if that, finance, Bill,
Sure.
keep it short.
Yep.
Thank you.
21.9 million for property taxes collected. You'll see prior year taxes and interest and liens are looking good, and this excludes the $169,000 that Scott, I believe he emailed the board separately.
Yep.
That kudos to Scott. I know he's been working on that specific account for quite a while. So to see that come in was terrific. State and federal grants, the big news there, we received the second payment of the ECS funds, so we're up to the 7.5 million that we get every year. Local revenue, kind of consistent with what we've talked about all year long, and investment income continues to be strong. We actually broke budget. We're at 108, 108% of budget. Expenses are in good shape, 8.3 million, 84% of the budget, and it's the same major factors driving the couple of areas where we're over budget: snow removal and that municipal insurance item. That was premiums are a little higher than we had budgeted.
Okay, any questions?
Yes.
Go.
What is the status of the school budget at this point in terms of?
My last report for April's numbers, we were right at we were just in the black about $32,000. We've been right around there for the last 3 months. So we're still in the black, but it's very, very close. And we're starting our work right now of closing any remaining POs that are there. And we're hopeful we can keep it there.
Okay, and that includes the additional expenditures that were incurred in special ed recently?
Yep.
Thank you.
That was going to be my question. Yeah, the special ed included. Any other questions, Bill? Nate, anything?
I did, Brian. Bill, can you remind us what's left in the lapsing account that we still control in terms of allocation to the school?
45,000?
Yes, Brian's right. It's right.
45,000, Rob.
About 45. Okay, I thought it was around 40. Okay, and does that 32 include the the amounts that the school had in excess from the prior year? They had a couple 100,000 as well. It doesn't. Okay, good to know. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
Nate, any questions?
I'm all set, Mr. Lynch. Thank you.
Okay, it's Brian. That's okay. Steve, anything?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Moving on, Turtle Lot Fund. Board of Trustees.
I don't have anything there, and actually, this month's statement hasn't come in yet, so.
Okay, all right, moving on, we'll do new business. Any new business? None, old business. My only question on old business, referendum is next week, right? Do we have it?
Wednesday.
We have, RJ's gonna post?
Yeah.
What time are we meeting? Last time we said 8 and we were out there like till 10 o'clock, it seemed like.
8:30.
8:30?
8:30.
Okay, 8:30?
It's a good call.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah, 'cause
So
I
next
heard they-
Wednesday
I
at
heard
eight
they-
thirty. Oh,
8:30,
sorry.
Nate, yeah, because I hear our machines are breaking down faster and faster, so it could be later than that, but.
Okay.
8:30 is better, hopefully they don't break down.
Right.
Wednesday,
All right.
8:30. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay,
Brian, I had a question on that, Brian.
yep,
If the results come back affirmative, we can meet and set the mill rate. If the budget fails, can we just not meet? I mean, do we have to have a meeting that evening?
no.
There's really no point in
You
open.
don't know that unless you're there.
No, I understand. But last time we opened the meeting and it creates work and things, there's nothing to do. So I would suggest we just don't open the meeting at all. We cancel the meeting.
Well, do you want to have dates? Because I think
Well, that's
what
what I
you
was
guys
gonna
talked about was dates for
Yeah.
when you would meet again,
Yeah,
We set the date.
unless you set the dates tonight.
I don't have,
Okay,
a
fair
problem. I mean, if we set a couple of dates tonight, just
Then
to,
you don't have to meet
then we,
or have a meeting.
well, we have to have the meeting to set the mill rate.
Yes.
Oh,
We have to vote
yes.
on that.
Yeah.
Fails. You
Yeah,
don't have. to
yeah,
do
then if it fails, we'll just cancel the meeting.
Can't we set the
Correct.
mill rate now?
What's that, Steve?
No,
Can't we set the mill rate
No.
now, saying if the budget
No.
passes, the mill rate will be X?
No,
no. No, it's hypothetical, Steve. I don't think we can do that. I think we need to have the data. We need to have the affirmative.
Right.
Yep.
So,
I'm fine. I'm fine either way. I don't want to complicate it, Brian. We open a meeting and then we've got, minutes and work to do that we really don't get any work done
Well-
other than setting date.
while we got pretty much everybody here, should we at least throw in 2 dates? And get them set so RJ can be ready for it? I mean, what are we looking at? We're 29th is the 28th is the
yep.
referendum.
Mhm.
We're looking at, do you want to meet on June, the first week of June, like Monday and what day is your meetings in Thompson?
I'm gone from the 3rd through the 6th. I won't be available.
Okay,
Actually, through the 7th, actually.
all right. So, but you're here to, we're here
I'm here
the
the
second?
2nd, and I'm here May 29th and 30th,
Okay,
that Thursday and Friday right after.
Friday I'm not here. How about if we do this? How about if right now we just set June 2nd? That okay for you because you're leaving the
I'll
3rd?
I'll be here on the
How about
2nd.
the 29th?
What's that?
Can we do the 29th and the 2nd?
I can do the 29th.
Okay, 29th and
Maybe
June
the
2nd?
29th and the 2nd?
Yeah,
Does that work, Steve?
Yep, that sounds good.
Nate, that good for you?
June, yeah. June 2nd,
Yeah, I'm okay with those 2 dates.
May 29th. Here or
Yeah,
here,
Yeah.
Amy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep, I think that date's wide.
RJ 29th and June 2nd, 7 o'clock here?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, any other old business? So we're gonna meet Wednesday. If it fails, we'll just cancel the meeting. And
Correct.
then have our meetings already set the 29th
meet-
and the 2nd.
On Thursday and the 2nd Monday.
Yeah,
Perfect. Thank you.
all right. We have no citizens here. Are there any citizens on Zoom that would like to speak? All right, hearing none. Board of Finance members, Nate, anything?
I just want to confirm, so we're gonna be meeting, Wednesday for my calendar, the 28th, if it goes through or not. And
Yeah,
then the 2nd and the 9th of June,
Yes.
No,
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 29th.
29th of May, and the
Yes,
2nd of June.
yes,
Okay,
7 o'clock.
got it. Thank you.
Okay. Steve, anything?
I'm good. Thank you very much.
Rob?
I have two quick ones, Brian. One, great to see the surplus up to 10.1. Still have more to go. We don't know where 25 is gonna land. So I'm very encouraged and actually relieved and pleased that it's moved up so well and we can continue to push that further. And then the second, I wanna shout out and acknowledge Bill. Audits don't go through like that because of the auditors. They go through because of all the work that happens throughout the year. And I just want to recognize Bill and his staff for the work that they do.
Yeah, we're doing some of that bullshit stuff. I mean, what is that? You know, I'm looking at it saying this is bullshit. Okay. Yeah, you're right, Bob. Great audit. Good for the town and great work. I agree. All right, Dave, anything?
yes,
What do you got?
question
Question?
for Bill, maybe for Amy. I'm not as optimistic as some people may be regarding the vote next week. I'm hearing a lot of negativity in the community. And the question I have is, doing some research in the past week, I came up with this notation and I'm wondering why, because of the impact of the reevaluation, why it was not considered to phase in this new impact over a period of 5 years, which is suggested and allowed by state law and procedure. This was the first I knew of this, and it's only because I researched the law. It would have been beneficial, I think, to the town. The reasons that we're facing the negativity in our community at this point in time is not the tax rate. It's to do appraisals and assessments that people throughout the town have received. So it would seem to me that the assessor would have mentioned this option to the Board of Selectmen as a possibility to implement and reduce the impact that this reevaluation has had upon the taxpayers of our community. That's all I have to say.
Well, I want to follow up. Because is there nothing we can do now? I mean, can we pursue?
Well,
I don't know that.
This is a summary, but it's not mentioning, do you know which
It's
general statute
it's
it's referring to?
yeah, it's the
Because it's not 12
it's
63.
specifically, I forget the number. It was
We need the number.
12-352.
If you could get me the number, I can reach out and I'll speak to Paul, but I'll also speak to the town attorney.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should, bring in the light of this, we should research to
It's a
see.
synopsis of
Yeah, I mean,
Right, I just need to know
I-
which statute it's referring to.
Did you guys have a copy? They don't have a
No,
copy.
they don't have a copy.
Yeah. You want me to
No,
read,
but I have a-
you want me to read the highlighted,
It's a summary of
Yeah.
something.
It's a summary of the state law that was put in requiring reevaluation every 5 years. And in that, the reevaluation statutes address a potential impact, including tax increases. They do so by allowing municipalities to phase in the new values over 5 years, or in more limited circumstances, shift the tax burden from residential to non-residential property. The legislature has also allowed some municipalities that were scheduled to revalue property and didn't do so until a later year. So my major concern is the possibility existed to take the significant increase that people have in their appraisals and phase that in over a 5-year period, say if you went 20% each year for 5 years.
Yeah.
The impact on the taxpayer and the mill rate would have been significant.
I would
don't
make,
think
I would
we
make the
be
assumption,
faced-
we haven't said anything yet. We haven't set any mill rate yet, and although they've got the what it looks like they're gonna be paying, but it's not set in stone what they're gonna pay.
The
I-
grand
yeah.
list has been filed. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's
The grand
October
list has
first.
been filed.
Yeah, well, let's see if
So
we,
that-
if you don't
that,
mind,
Just.
I think it's worth a shot, and if
just
we
give me a
could,
sec here.
I'd like to jump in, Brian, if I could. I'd like Bill's opinion. The challenge this year is much less about the magnitude of the reval. It's much less about the magnitude of the reval. It's more related to the redistribution of the values, meaning the automobiles went down over 40%.
That is not
The
true.
personal property, real quick, Dave, let me finish. The
Go
personal
ahead.
property went down significantly and commercial and industrial went down significantly. So I believe, and this is what I'm asking Bill, I believe if we took this at 1/5 versus the full amount over 5 years, when we normalized the mill rate, it wouldn't have, the grand list would have been lower and we would have dropped the mill rate not down to 1929. We would have dropped it down to, I don't know, some other figure, but it would have been higher than 1929. So I don't know if this really addresses the issue that Dave's highlighting. I think it just kind of pushes it out, but the actual impact is the same. And I'd like Bill, if you could opine on that, I'd like to hear
yeah.
how you feel that will impact.
Yeah, I think what I'm hearing is it's a combination of that reval is coming and hit property owners. And now we've got a mill rate, even what we're putting out at 0.66. You know, people figure
Yeah.
getting a double whammy.
Right.
You know, well, they are, and I understand about the cars and all, and losing that, but it's unfortunate that people are keying in on reval went up so high, and plus the mill rate going up, they're feeling like I'm getting double whacked. I think it's worth, if it's something that we could look at, then maybe we got time to adjust a little bit, you know?
I'd be concerned that every year of the next 5 years, we'd have the reassessment, my assessment's going up again. And I think you might make this year a little more palatable, but you'll pay for it every year in for the next 4 as well. So I'm not sure you really.
Well, it's sort of, Steve, it's sort of like the same thing for me with utilities. I could whack them for 40% in the first year, you know, for water and sewer, and that's gonna hurt hard. But if you do it like we did it 2.5% over a 7-year period, that little increment doesn't hurt as bad. Yeah, I kind of look at it that way,
That's
you
the way
know,
I look at it.
it's, they're gonna get it each year go up, but at least it's not what I'm hearing some people saying, you know, their taxes are gonna go up, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 down. I'm afraid to see what I'm gonna pay. You know, I don't even look at it because I'm afraid to look at it, but getting whacked over a 5-year period, knowing each year it's gonna go up by a certain amount is a little easier to take than getting whacked all at once, you know, at what's gonna happen to these people. I'm worried going into this next referendum.
Brian, I'm worried as well, and I agree that there is a double whammy here with the reval values being high. But again, I don't think chunking it out at 20% each year changes it at all. It doesn't spread it out over 5 years. What happens is the grand list would have been much lower by,
Yeah.
you know, that the increase of the grand list would have been 80% lower, and which means we wouldn't have dropped the mill rate as much. So it's a bad situation. I'm not debating that. I just don't see we have $2 million that's been redistributed, and our cost of our spend is only going up about 600,000. So those are the facts, and that doesn't, it's really coming down to that redistribution. If it was just the 600,000 spread evenly, we wouldn't have, you know, and it wasn't a reval, then we wouldn't have this discussion. But I don't see how spreading it out over 5 years is changing that. And maybe maybe we should probe a little deeper. If it does, I'm all for it, but I don't see the
I
map.
don't think there'll be harm in probing. If we can't do it, we can't do it. But
Agreed.
again, I know what you're saying, Rob, and you know, sometimes it's just better to rip the Band-Aid off and then take this year and move on. But unfortunately, you know, people are not, in our town, aren't looking at it this way. They're saying, I'm getting screwed in reval, and then you want your taxes to
But
go
you
up.
know, Brian, some of the people that are saying that, done my research, some of the people online saying the loudest people
Yeah.
are actually seeing a decrease overall.
Yes, I don't-
So that's both.
I don't go on that. I only
There
look,
are people majorly impacted, but like Rob said, if you reduce that grand list, then the mill rate's gonna go higher.
Yeah.
So ultimately, the budget is still the same. The budget is still a 1.9%
Yeah.
increase. That's a steal. Short
I-
of shutting down departments.
and that's what's worrying me, Amy. I'm being honest. That's what's worrying me.
Mhm.
I know what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing with you. Okay, I agree with both, but
I think
unfortunately,
people that are out
I
there-
could tell you just started yelling at me, and I was like, oh my God, I got nervous.
But it's not you, it's the idea of what people are saying on social.
See, and there's
I
the
don't see
difference,
any
Amy.
of that. I'm just-
I don't look at social. I just talk to people,
Right.
That's what I do.
and I'm telling you, yeah, those aren't the ones that are going down. But listen, if it can't happen, it can't happen. We're in this situation we're in, but
Research
yeah.
it.
all right. Anything else? Rob, anything else?
No, thank you.
All right, Dave, anything? No, I'm good.
Could I ask, did the assessor get a lot of people asking the actual impact on their property?
You mean when he's done his, like, he did the Quinnebog visit, at Quinnebog, he had 5 people. At the library, the first time he had about 20. He
Okay,
does have people calling all the time,
okay, good.
so, and he's going to be making an appearance at the library on Tuesday,
All right, thank you, thank you. I wondered how it was received.
yeah.
All right, Bill, anything? Amy, anything else?
No, I guess the only thing I'd add from what Paul had mentioned is that the impact of the motor vehicle decrease is, I think, a significant thing that's being lost in this broader discussion. Because with a
Yeah.
lot of those folks, that's what's pushing people into actually having their taxes either be up very modestly or down.
Right,
Mhm.
I think a lot of times in this argument, people are focusing on real estate only.
right.
Which
Mhm.
if you ignore the fact that your motor vehicles are going down, you're ignoring that shift.
Yeah,
So you're only looking at half of the equation when it comes to the calculation of your tax. But Paul had mentioned that is a lot of the folks that had stopped in to see him, that's what they were saying. Not all, by any means.
Right.
But that's one of the factors that seems to be sort of lost in that broader discussion. That's it.
Amy, anything? All right, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move that motion to adjourn.
Second,
I'll second.
Steve second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we'll see everybody Wednesday, the 28th.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate it.
Thank
No
you, everyone.
problem.
Have a good night.
Anytime, bye now.